me, Craig X, in the place to be, 420. How's it going, everybody? Over here on Facebook, anyway. Working on getting the YouTube stream started for a minute. We'll see if that gets going here. Hopefully it does, but in the meantime, light them if you got them. If it's at least your 420, and if it wasn't, well, so be it. You can join us for ours anyway. It's cool. We've got enough to go around. On that note, we will continue to be working on the YouTube stream. We'll continue to move on with the show. And on the show this week, we're talking about, as usual, we've got to plug the Thompson Caribou promo code for the show. It's welcome10 is the code to the end of May, right till the end of May. You can use the code welcome10 if you're a new customer over at shop.thompsoncaribou.com to go ahead and get you the promo code to save 10% till the end of May there. Welcome10 is the code. Yeah, maybe we can put the Facebook link in the YouTube chat to make it easy on them for now to try and help out for a minute. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, let's roll on talk last week's show. Yeah, last week's show, good show. Derek from Thompson Caribou was here. He also had some products from TCC in the squad. Comedian James Hammond was here as well too. D420K was in the place to be. And Puffa and Locke from Pot TV. This is the Puffa podcast. We're also here as well too. It was dope, so you want to check the replay, obviously after this one. And also dope, of course, everybody who's in the chat room. I see all you people who are on YouTube chat. I see you. We're on Facebook right now, trying to get you to it's my shows to the YouTube chat right now. Sorry about that. Newfangled gadgets. That said, apparently it's on the Cannabis Life Network YouTube, but it's not on the Expert Joints YouTube, so you can check out Cannabis Life Network YouTube. But maybe we can get it on. There's also Twitter. We're also on Twitter, too. You can watch on the Expert Joints Twitter page, maybe. I don't know. Let's do it anyway. This week on the show, El Jefe from Los Muertos, Smoke, is back in the place to be to chat. Actually, this time for a minute. Also, brought some goods with him from the fine folks at the West Coast Smoke Co. as well too. And our bud Tim McBride is also back in the place to be. The Saltwater Cowboys finally makes his return for another one of Tim's tales. And criminal defense lawyer Sarah Leamon back in the place to be as well too. Should be dope, just like the products we have from Los Muertos. All in the place to be here today. In the bud cam, I'm going to go ahead and throw in some of this one, the death tuna. The death tuna, just because it sounds super scary. So we'll go ahead and put that in there because I doubt it's really that scary. Here, let's find a better button than that. There we go. This looks good. It just wasn't balanced. There we go. Hard to sometimes get the right shot for the camera. All right, put it in the bud cam. See what we got here from the fine folks at Los Muertos. There we go. Oh, looking nice. Looking nice. And there's the little top of those. Oh, there we go. Oh, so good. Delicious. Delicious looking buds from the fine folks at Los Muertos Smoke. You want to check them out on Instagram. They are there. Los Muertos score under Los _Muertos _Smoke. That's where they are. And I'm going to roll one up and continue with the show then. Even though I've already got one going. Because, you know, that's how it works. But what I'll do. So first I'll get some smoke in my eye. And then I'll pass it down the line just a little bit here. And then I'll grab that other nug back here and roll it up as I introduce the man who brought the goods today from Los Muertos Smoke. Please welcome El Jefe to the show.
What's going on, Craig? How are you?
Good, brother. Yourself?
Good, man. Can't complain.
Appreciate it. Have you back here at Studio 710. Thanks for sitting down for more in a second.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it was a little quick last time, but, you know,
right,
things to do, so.
Shouts to Master Tokes and Bong Bay for the last time on the tip. But thanks for coming through here. Of course, we've seen you on Cushy Show and hanging with the cats from the Puffa podcast. Hey, YouTube. There we go. YouTube. Here we go. Welcome. Hello. Let's just pause.
We got it. It's up. We're
Hello,
good.
YouTube. Sorry for a minute. Apparently, we were a little late getting to the Expert Joints YouTube for we're not sure why, but it did. We got some new
It
gear.
happens, but it's all
right.
right.
We got some new gear, and I think we're still figuring out all the new gear a little bit, but it's cool. We were all the way up on Facebook and Cannabis Life Network YouTube, and Cannabis Life Network Facebook and Twitter. NationalChoice.com. We're in a lot of places. We're in a lot of places, but here we are. We're here now. Everybody's all together. Big group hug.
Group hug. Virtual hug.
My man El Jefe in the place, joining us from Los Muertos Smoke. Also products West Coast Smoke Co., Tim McBride, Sarah Leamon, for those who missed their intro. You're all caught up. Moving forward. Now, we've got the man back here to sit down. But as we see here, we got some pretty good-looking flowers there. I guess you could give us the rundown. Los Muertos, all about those high-quality flowers, yeah?
Yeah, all of we stand by quality, same as, with West Coast, both brands. They're obviously separate, but we both stand by the highest quality we can find, and, we don't like putting junk out like some other companies, but, we just try to stick to, some of the best growers we know. It might be, we do, we do the best we can with the flower that's in town and around, so.
Well, I was going to say how the project come about, but I guess that really sort of says it. There's a need for good work.
Yeah, exactly. A need for quads, a need for super quads, and a need for, certain strains that some other people can't get or they're kind of unknown. It's there's a few other companies in the game that are doing it real well, and we just want to be, up there with those guys, and because we know our products are all, top notch, and they speak for themselves.
Well, you guys have been at it for a while.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And products from all over this fine province, the home of BC Bud, right? You scour the province.
There's a couple different guys we stay in touch with.
I love it. Any varieties that are particularly popular or the most you guys are sort of known for, maybe?
We specialize in a lot of gas, like the Death Tuna, the Death Bubbas,
it smells like
super
I smelled
gassy.
diesel fuel all over
Yeah,
the
exactly, right?
Yeah.
A lot of in-town people really like it. Used to be a big Toronto thing because Toronto and the East Coast used to have just terrible. Well, they still don't have the best weed, but they love the gas. They love the gas out there, and slowly but surely over the last few years, everybody in town now went from the Kush that they loved, and now they all just want the gas for heavy indicas, it seems.
Speaking of Ontario, guess who's in Ontario? Andrew's not in the place, but in that place. What's up, Andrew? What's going on, brother? Come back. We'll see you soon. And we're going to have to talk about this vacation stuff, man. This is like twice. I haven't had a day off. How do you get so many days off?
What's a day off?
Yeah, the fuck? Like, you got like a whole bunch of them in a row, too. I don't know what you did, but anyway, hope you're having fun. We'll make you work when you get back. But good to see you in the chat, man. Thank you. And Curry's holding it together. He troubleshooted the YouTube problem. You're gonna have to talk to that little box when you get back, though. Give it a little smack. Tell him we don't appreciate its efforts. He needs to step up. Stupid box. Anyway, I hope you're having a good trip. Everybody says hi to Andrew in the chat room, so that's cool. I was gonna say, a lot of people like the gas. I mean, shows to our friend at 91 Supreme over there.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That is
it's all about gas now. It's what everybody wants, right? It's I don't know if it's necessarily the best, but it's what's hot right now.
Well, hey, honestly, we were talking about that. We were talking about some trending shit that at one point everybody was like, "Oh, give me that," and then it gets to the point where like, "Wow, that's so commercial. I don't want it,because obviously a name
they
gets
just get
used
so
and
played out,
right, yeah.
And there's so many different, people try to play it off for, just like especially with like Nukin right now and train wrecks and PKs and things that have just been around for so long and so played out, and now everybody has their ACMPR license, so they all think they can grow. But they just grow shit dubs and they can't move them, so they just sit stale, and it just kills the market and fucks up everything. So that's why we don't deal with any people like that. A quad will always be a quad, and good bud is always good bud, right? You know what I mean? You can nickel and dime with like the $1,000 packs and like the small shit, and you know what? It might pay the bills, but it's not what we want behind our name.
Right. Well, that's funny because it's true. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter what language you speak. Doesn't matter any political anything like that. How long you've been doing it.
It doesn't matter
if the weed is good. That's it.
If it's fire, it's fire. It doesn't matter if it's your first grow, your 10th grow, your 400th grow. I know guys that have been growing their whole lives that are they're terrible.
Well, we went to a place, Todd and I, one time. We were filming down in California, and I can't really mention who or what, but they passed me some stuff and like handed it to me like it was like they actually
Gold.
gave Santa the cookies
Yeah.
himself, and we're like, watch him eat it, watch him eat it, watch him eat it.
Yeah.
And I like, from the time I lit it to the time I like took the flame away and put it to my mouth, it went out.
It went out. It's black.
Oh, it looked like he fucking colored the end of it with a Sharpie. And they're like, so what do you think? And I'm like, well, I kind of not really getting the best opportunity to really get a full experience over here. It's not really burning as well. Like, oh, well, we work really hard at all that. I said, so I'm used to
A different program.
Used to a little different ash where I'm from is all I said.
Yeah.
And they said, what? And I pulled out a picture on the phone of the white ash gang
normal
doing
ash,
what
yeah.
it does. And they looked at it, and one of the people said to the other people, said, come here. I want to see this picture. This is me. I've never seen that before.
Like how?
And they're award winners.
And they're oh wow. Yeah, I get different. You know, it's all different.
At
Well, it's everybody like BC is known for BC bud. It's known worldwide. There's not California bud. There's BC bud is known worldwide because it's the best. It's known for being the best. We have the best water. You know, the East Coast has super like salty, like they're just the mineral. Like when you try to grow over there, their water is so shitty that's why it's so hard to grow really nice shit.
I swear that one of the reasons for Chad Jacket's success up there in the mountains up there is the fact that he uses that icy
like,
cold, like water from the glaciers and shit like that, rich with like the right kinds of minerals and
Yeah, exactly.
and
It's
super
just
cold,
fresh. Just
right?
fresh.
I
You know,
swear
you don't get water like that in big cities, right? You don't get the glacier feed, the super fresh best water. And it's like anything. If you have the best feed, you have the best water, you're gonna have the best plant.
But Butter King says the same sort
Yeah,
of
exactly.
thing. Man, right?
Exact same thing. It's all about the water, and people don't understand that. It's definitely
Yeah, it's
big
funny
thing.
when you get into it. Probably the reason why they grow such good weed up on the Sunshine Coast is you go and look at like the ratings and stuff like that, and the water up in Gibson's and that
Is
sort of area for a
amazing.
small kind of little town area is some of the best in the absolute world. Period.
Well, yeah,
so-
like if you go to Whistler and you let the tap run and you have that's better water than anywhere else you'll ever get in the world. It's the best.
pretty much. Just never know what who and what goes on around here. What's happening here. There's always all these people coming and going from the studio, and sometimes I hear the doorbell.
Yeah, no, all
like,
of a
what
sudden
was
the
that
doorbell,
then?
everybody
You know,
like kind of
ding
like
dong.
everybody kind of got up like, hey, what's that?
I don't know
What's
who that
going
is.
on?
Are we expecting somebody? Right? Sometimes we happen. It's cool, to a degree, but sometimes we just get like, I have a delivery. No, man, this
No, bro, wrong time.
wrong place. No, you want one street
It
over. Same
depends.
address.
It depends where it's getting delivered from downstairs.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Depends on what address you got here. We're talking about.
Are we going from fourth floor, or how are we doing this?
We're gonna go and ask you for the. Friends of mine, we're gonna move on with the show. We're gonna ask you where people can go ahead and find your products typically if they want to find some.
With West Coast Smoke Co., some of our bigger guys are BC Bud Store for like online. BC Bud Store, Boutique Cannabis, Birch and Fog, the Aura. There's Aura Kingsway, Red Med. There's
Red Med.
There's so many to name, and I feel bad, but we don't have time to sit here and name off 60, 70
So
different
basically, anywhere
spots.
where good bud is found.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you Google West Coast Smoke Co., it'll all come up.
Yeah, Weed Maps?
Yeah, Weed Maps. We're getting on it right now. It's been a little. It's like anything in the weed industry. It takes a little longer than we had expected to get on it and meet up and get all the information they need. And it's just been a little bit of a clerical issue, but we'll get it done.
You should come down to the Patience Over Profits party last on Saturday.
I know, I was-
It might have had some forms with them. I don't know. Maybe yours.
Yeah.
Part of
Well,
the
we've been
forms.
emailing back and forth, and I think there's been a couple phone calls and missed phone calls, and it just seems like every time we try to connect, it just doesn't work. But we'll get on there, and we're not sweating it, and we'll be on there, and we're around, right? So.
Well, you want to get on some of this death tuna. This shit's nice. Of course, you can check out the Instagram account, Los Muertos Smoke, over there on the IG.
West Coast Smoke Co.
Right. Of course, we got that one as well, too. Yeah, the extracts, it's your friends at West Coast handle that. I got the Instagram account, too, as well. But they mostly do a lot of vape pens, which you brought in the place to be here
Yeah.
as well, too. All right. So the vape pens out of the West Coast Smoke Co. guys. Yeah, and if you scroll down a little bit there, Curry, I think you'll see they got some like pens in some various settings. I once in a while see a little bit of shatter on there as well too. This is more like the
some
extract
extracts.
side.
Yeah, like we do some bulk shatter for some certain spots. You know, but we specialize, or with West Coast we specialize with the distillate pens.
So I was just going to ask. So yeah, talking about the pens that we've got here with you. So we've got two of them here: the white box and the black box.
Yep.
One's like the sativa and indica.
Yeah. So the black is the indica, the white's the sativa. So this is actually it's actually a battery box.
Oh, okay.
So when you so when you close it, so you pull the pen out, right? Oh yeah, you can get yours. Yeah.
Yep.
So you pull the pen out. So the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you pull it out, you can feel it's like magnetic. So when when you go back in, if it needs a charge, it'll automatically charge it magnetically, and then when you pull it, just
Oh, that's not that bad.
I know, right? Thanks, Craig. If Craig says it's not that bad, it's in.
Kind of one of my
I'll fucking
left-handed
take that,
compliments,
man.
but-
I will take that for vape pens. I know that you hate them. There's a couple other people that I know aren't too big on vape pens, but we try to keep them as clean as possible with distillate and organic terpenes. So there's no filler, no bullshit. There's no
PG, no
VG,
VG, no
no
MCT.
MCT oil. No,
Good.
it's done proper, right? We stand behind our work and all our extracts or our pens or our flower, and we put our name out for it. So we have certain people that we want to keep happy, and if it drops off, they're not happy, right? And they're not buying it. So
Well, that's the thing I find with a lot of these things. Not only do they taste kind of chemically, some of them have the weird aftertaste
if it tastes
give you
fake, it's
right?
fake.
There's a lot of synthetic sort of taste to them that actually tasted kind of like just distillate and terps, like as if you did a
exactly.
light dab. I mean, not as heavy, thick smoke, but
Yeah, and there was so there's one of the shops that I went into. There was this kid behind the desk, and he goes, "Yeah, no, it's not that flavorful." And he's like, "Oh, try this one." So I tried it, and I'm like, "Okay, well, that's obvious." Like I knew right away. I'm like, "It tastes like fake blueberry, so it's fake blueberry, And you can see the swirl in it."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't care who it was or whatever. And I'm like, "Yeah, man." I'm like, obviously, I'm like, here. I showed him, and he's like, "Oh," and kind of thought I was like bullshitting him. I'm like, I don't have to, bullshit you or whatever. Like we use a blend of about 22 to 25 different terpenes, with the oil to make the flavors that we want. But we also, you can't, with terpenes, you can't use too much or it'll burn your throat. You can't. It's
harsh if you do it straight terps.
Yeah, and it's some people just don't understand that, and it was a younger kid, but still it's like, yeah, we try to get the best flavor we can, having the smoothest, best smoke.
I've got some jars of basically of straight terpenes and the HT, FSCs
Oh, man.
and all. Like I got that crazy jar I got from Maple Leaf. It's dope, it's killer. But you gotta be so careful with it. Like you just gotta wave it sort of near it.
Yeah.
Let it kind of just look at the jar for a minute. Just hold your dab in the general vicinity of it and give it just a little because it's great and it's tasty at that point, but you can very, very overload it where not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just the point where it's just so intense and like heavy terp stuff can really get you, and I really hate the artificial flavors. So I would rather take a lighter, more natural, like it's supposed to be, than have this.
Because with blueberry OG, if it has the terpenes from OG and it has the terpenes from the blueberries, right? Plant derived and both actually plant and fruit derived, right? So putting those together, you get a nice flavor that has a good blueberry flavor, but it doesn't taste fake. It tastes like an actual blueberry, right? But not
weed.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the thing that I don't like on some of these pens. They taste like chemical.
Yeah.
Or even if they don't taste that chemically, they taste like cherry or vanilla or peach or watermelon.
And all that is fake flavoring.
I want my weed to taste like weed.
Yeah, exactly.
If I want to smoke fucking Flavorade, I would smoke a fucking vape pen with no
if
tobacco
fun
in
dip,
it.
then yeah.
Or no nicotine drops in it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
No, man. I'm not smoking this because I want it to taste like something else. I like the taste of weed.
That's why I smoke it.
Right? So, I mean, shit, that worked out pretty good. So, different flavors, different combos,
Yeah,
or do they all kind of come in one sort of master mix? Oh, these are the refills. Okay,
No,
cool.
Those are the refill cartridges, and then so there's 6 different flavors, 3 and 3. There is Girl Scout Cookie Mint, OG Blueberry, Grape Ape Grape for the indicas. And then for the sativas, there's Jack Herrera Mango, Sour Diesel Citrus, and Strawberry Cough Strawberry.
Damn.
Yeah, and then we did a limited run of chocolate mint for Easter, and we thought we'd be sitting on them for a while, and they actually blew out like that.
Gonzo.
Yeah, and then we couldn't get we couldn't find the proper terps to like make it again, so we but
It was just a special Chris one
yeah,
time.
exactly.
This is the one that got away.
Yeah,
hey.
it was.
And of course, West Coast Smoke Co. is the Instagram account to get more information and following on the pens as well too. But you've also got the website in there as well too. WCSmoke.ca is in the place to be. Hey, I know that place. And well, I kind of know where that might be, but I definitely know where that is.
Yeah.
And I got one of those right here. Yeah, man, that was actually pretty good, dude. You know, and honestly, when it comes down to it, I like the idea of the pre-filled pen with the liquidy cartridge because it's there and you don't have to reload and reload. That's what I don't like about the shatter pens and all that sort of stuff, right?
And the one thing about this is that you'll never, it'll always be charged. So if you go out, like that's my biggest thing is like with the rechargeable pens, you don't know when you're actually going to need a charge. So
and
all of a sudden you'll be out and all of a sudden it'll just be dead. But this, with the so on the screen when it needs charge, it'll show you how long of a charge is in the actual battery pack.
Oh, cool.
And then so you would just plug this bottom part into a micro USB and then into a USB.
How long does this thing last for?
Well, I've
couple days or
3 weeks.
Nice.
I've had mine been puffing on it a lot. That's not don't quote me on that. Obviously, we haven't, but that's the longest I've had, or the shortest I've had, about 3 weeks, and then it had to be charged. But I know people that have had it for 2 months since I did Cushy's show.
Right.
And Alyssa's had that, and she hasn't charged it once.
And then are these refillable, or do you just buy replacements?
No, you just buy new cartridges for it.
Killer.
Yeah.
Super handy, man. Oops. And I guess, like you already mentioned, finer retailers everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask the suggested retail price on the item, roughly?
On
one of
these packs, the suggested retail is about $225.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a higher end product, but it also comes with 1,700 milligrams of THC.
Right.
Right. So all 0.5 milligram through, so 15. Yeah.
Oh, so you get a bunch of cartridges then.
Yeah. All 3 cartridges come for that. Yeah,
nice.
And the pack. So this whole pack.
Oh, okay.
Is what you get with all the 3 cartridges. You can mix and match, and if you want a black with the sativa pens or anything like that, we can mix and match. It's
nice.
It's all online. It's drop down. It's super easy. You just pick what ones you want, and you just.
And then from there you've got your charger and the case and the pen and all that ready to go, and you just only ever need to get refills again.
Yeah, it just comes in this nifty little box, and just has the charger in there and comes in. Yeah.
Cool,
super
man.
easy.
I like it. Well, if you guys want to check that out, man, you might want to check it out. I didn't mind it. And like I said, some of the problems that I have with leakage and things like that. How's that been? They're pretty good holding up durability wise and stuff. Any real problems with them?
I've only had one person say that it's leaked ever, and that person allegedly smoked it on a plane. So the pressure in the plane
could have potentially
been
involved.
Because once they got back on the ground, they were good.
Okay.
So that I heard, and then also that was it. And then I also heard a story of somebody I know. They got one thrown at them, and might have been a headshot that missed and hit the wall, and it still works. So
Hey.
I wouldn't recommend it, but those are a couple stories that I've heard that. So other than that, we've had they're good, they're solid,
Nice, man. Well, it's a solid. You brought some nectar extracts from the homies along too for dab
of
time
course.
as well too.
Yeah.
Shouts to the guys at
Always
Nectar.
just support the boys, and I think Tim they sent some live, but I think Tim grabbed it.
I think so. Yeah, it sounds
we'll
like
have to get him in here to test it out.
Timmy likes the live resin for sure.
Oh yeah, no, they got some really good extracts, and they're like lifelong friends. So you got to help support them, right? We also have our shatter, and but I think we're out right now. The racks are getting processed right now. they're pretty much done, and they're gonna be packaged up. So
hey, I'm not mad with the replacement. You
no, exactly right.
I'm all good with that.
Yeah, it's we had to bring something in, and we got to support the
family.
The family, exactly.
Family. So it's all good, man.
Say one of the best in the HTFSC game, but I might be a little biased. But
Creed Taylor brought some by, or should I say Creed Taylor?
Creed.
He brought some by. The man and his hair both came through.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
And
I've
they
known
hung out
Creed
for a while.
I've known Creed since grade 10. He's
There you go.
yeah,
Good
he's
dude, man.
awesome. He's
a good
wicked.
guy,
Yeah.
man. He often watches. He could be watching right now. Shouts
Hopefully he
to
is.
Canada.
What's up, Creed? I
Um,
told all the guys I was gonna be on it, so they're probably all watching.
There you
laughing.
go. Nice. Yeah, we appreciate everybody who is watching on all the streams. I think we're streaming to like about 8 different platforms right now if you want to get into it. So, I guess that's most of the rundown. I don't want to, get too intellectually proprietary stuff with your thing here and get too in depth with all the things here. But
the whole thing. But I think we got it.
I got 4 more questions if you don't mind me asking them.
I could fly at it.
You better be on set when it's time, is all I'm saying. Oh, and we're back. Parker and I just having a little moment over here. His spot later. Right now, 4 questions from a man, El Jefe. First one, how and when did you get into weed?
Back in high school, and my older brother and my cousin. My cousin was 4 years older, so when we go camping, we'd always go because my parents trusted him. So we'd go, and I think we started about, allegedly, if my mom's watching, like 12, 13, smoking. And I don't know, it's a BC thing to do, right? It's just, and but, I've always kind of been around it and grown up in Port Moody and all that. We're always around it, right? And then
it's kind of everywhere around here.
It is.
BC,
It's BC, man. It's
right?
it's
We were talking
everywhere.
about it. Well, that's cool. One of the friends just kind of show up with a doobie one day, and next thing you know, it was on.
Yeah, no, the first time ever was in Saanich in a lacrosse tournament. I think I was 12, showed it to Aaron Bowen. Yeah, you got me high for the first time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, he's sure he's watching, because why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
Just the homie. Preferred method of consumption: joints, blunts, dabs, bong toast. What's
Joints. Yeah, just joints, like the expert joint style joints, the king size or dabs, butter, shatter. I don't know. It's all but mostly flour during the day, and then depending on how stressful or shitty my day is, depends. Edibles or but mostly flour.
What's this bag of fucking boulders over here? What are these rocks, man?
It's the Lemon OG. Yeah, buddy. For some reason, he was packing and he went for a smoke break and forgot that was still on the vac sealer and left it for like 25 minutes, and it took nice fluffy weed and just crushed it. But the smoke's so good that I just keep it for myself.
And eventually it breaks up huge.
Oh yeah, it's like the air gets back into it.
Oh man!
I was like, "What
This
did
is
you
an
do?" Yeah, exactly.
This is an eighth right here, no problem.
What were you thinking?
Right?
He's like, "Yeah, sorry, bro. I went for a smoke and I just forgot about it."
A 2-pound bag.
Oh man.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna see how it smokes anyway. See what it looks like at that point. Let's call this the vacuum kush.
Yeah.
Let's see what that looks like. Squish it. Looks like it's having a tough day. It looks like it was like just squeezed.
It was just like look, it's just collapsed everywhere.
Right? It's just on top of each other, just layered on layered on layered. Hilarious.
It was nice. It was a nice looking pack at one time, but it smokes amazing. So
I can't even
no.
Tim, you got a chainsaw?
No, they won't allow me to have chainsaws anymore.
I bet. You heard the voice. Yeah, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
Question number 3. That was it. That was number 2. Number 3. How much do you consume every day, all day, kind of once in a while? I mean, I kind of think I know the answer to this.
Yeah, pretty much every day, all day. I've been good actually, not smoking during the day. Yeah, too much. With work and things happening and
a lot of things happen, man.
A lot of things happening, a lot of things going on, and if you smoke all day, a lot of things get missed, and a lot of things don't happen the way they should.
Depending on who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Can
and
be that
it's
way
just
for some people.
Yeah, but definitely
Managing
you gotta
your
test.
consumption. That's
But you
nothing
still
wrong with
gotta
that.
test it out. So my not smoking during the day, if I have to test something out or if I have to go smoke with a shop or something like that, I still do. So, but
That doesn't count.
But that's work.
That
that's
doesn't count.
work. So
That doesn't count,
it's a loophole.
right? People ask me, so what do you do for work? I say, I smoke weed and talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
They said, what? I said, no, I'm working. No, that's what I do.
Yeah. What do you do? I don't know, test weed.
All right. I smoke weed. How did
Yeah.
you get that job? I made it.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
I just started doing it, and it became a job. It's like if you tell people a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. I just keep doing it so long. I just told people it's a job, and everyone's like, hey, that's a cool job.
That's a sweet job, bro.
Good gig. Smoking mirrors. Shiny. Fourth question, last one. You look back at all the bags that you've seen going back, and there's got to be at least one that stands out as like the most memorable bag you ever come across. And if you never saw it again, we call it the one that got away. What's yours?
The one that I missed out on that was my favorite, and yeah, it was super limited. It was Black Death by High Grade. When that got, yeah, I missed out on it and I wasn't very happy, but that was the nicest pack, and I know a lot of people are, there's one shop in Vancouver that actually has the true High Grade, like the true Black Death High
Right.
Grade, yeah, and yeah, that was the one that that got away, that, yeah, we couldn't get any of it, and that was, it was heartbreaking. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
I didn't even care shouting them out. It was that good.
It was just that good.
Yeah, it was just caked and amazing. There's been some decent sized packs from the island, some really nice pinks that we've come across that have just been amazing. Just, yeah, phenomenal. So
There's a lot of talented people
But-
out on the island.
there's a lot of guys that have been doing it for a really long time.
Well, shouts to them and shouts to those who are going to continue to do it. But any more shout outs, plugs, anything we really missed? We cover it all? Or?
Yeah, my boy's relaunching his website, Morty's Meds, here in the next couple days. So look out for that. You'll see all Los Muertos and West Coast and Nectar, and that's why we kind of have the whole family in. And yeah, that'll be back up and running. So he's been he's been away from the game for a little bit, but he's always had fire for forever you could remember. I think he's been doing it since '91. So he's got it on lock. So.
Well, and I guess shouts to Mr. West and Spiffy
Mr.
Tiffy as
yeah,
well,
Spiffy
too.
Tiffy, she's in happy birthday. Oh, wait, is it the 24th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's her birthday today. I think she's 37.
Oh, don't say that out loud.
No,
She'll kill you.
I'm just fucking, I'm just kidding, Tiff. No. She's I don't know. I don't know how old she is. No,
She's having fun. That's
yeah,
what she's doing.
She's living it up
having a good
in
time. I love it.
in Mexico. So yeah, she's down there with her man, enjoying themselves. So good for
Right.
her.
Yeah, those guys are having a great time.
Mhm,
So.
yeah, and Los Muertos Smoke and Nectar Extracts and West Coast Smoke Co. and yeah, the whole family.
And El Jefe, thanks for being here, man.
No
I
worries.
appreciate you
Thanks
doing
for
it.
having me.
I appreciate also the support for Studio 710 from the guys at the Medicinal Cannabis Dispensary and a 91 Supreme, as well as MMJ Canada, Liberty Farms, Top Leaf Canada, just all cool cats with straight fire. And of course, Thompson Caribou Concentrates, where you can save 10% on your first purchase with the squad through the end of May. You've got like one more week to be able to save 10% on your first order. If you haven't already ordered with the squad, go make sure you do. You will not be disappointed. Great time on Saturday. Appreciate to them. We'll get you the video for that next week. That'll be a lot of fun. Ooh, nice and hazy in here. I like that. In the meantime, let's take a little break, and we will be right back for Dab Time. Okay. That was quick. Just like that, we're back. Which is good, because I don't want to wait anymore. I want to fucking dab, right? Dab time! Yeah, I do. Today we're dabbing the fine products from the folks at Nectar Extracts. Wow, shouts to the homies at Nectar hooking it up here, as brought by the man El Jefe. This is some of the Hindu Kush shatter. This is some PHO. Go ahead and throw this under the dab cam. It used to be the bud cam. There's the dab cam for right now. Plus, there's also. Oh, we got the. Oh, easy no Tiger. We also got the live. Oh, the live resin. Okay. We got the Death Bubble live resin. No.
The 90-something%.
Oh yeah.
The mad scientist.
Yes, very kickish.
Oh, some little fuzzy got in there from somebody off a dab tool or something. Cause I know this has already been got into, but other than that, man, it looks great. That'd be Tim. That'd be Tim. And they're fucking around, got it contaminated. But other than that,
Man, are you kidding me? Look at that cool little pinwheel. Back up, man.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that little awesome.
Oh yeah, that is.
there's some little piece in there. But otherwise,
Yeah.
it looks great.
I'm
So,
gonna smoke that fucker.
right? Well, good. You can take that dab right off the top here. As we go ahead and put that, I've also got the PHO joining us, as you've heard the voice, to join us for dab time, and of course, shortly after, Tim's Tales, the one and only, is back in the studio. Tim McBride, the Saltwater Cowboy, has returned. How are you, sir?
Oh my god.
Good to see you. Yeah, it's a little bit brighter in here
Yeah,
since the last
holy
time you were
shit,
here.
man. No, this is great. This is good stuff.
I know you're colorblind and shit, but like this is making
Yeah.
blind.
Yeah, but you know, bright whites, you know, you see
So-
it the same as everybody else
Right,
does,
I
man.
love it.
So especially when you're all fucked up and shit.
All right, well, let's get caught up with you during dab time. During Tim's Tales, let's go ahead and do some dabs in the meantime. Serve yourself up. You should have a tool right in front of you there. The subby's hot over there. I got one over here. You try the live resin. I'll try the shatter. And maybe if El Jefe there wants a dab too, he's more than welcome to have some as
Oh yeah,
well.
I'm gonna have some of the live for sure.
There you go. Well, rigs are warm, and I guess that's all we really need. So you got your dab ready there, big guy?
I'm ready to go, brother.
All right, well then if you're ready, Curry's ready, then I guess it would be
Time to go.
dab time. This was cooler when the people Northwest did it, but still. I like the song choice.
What's up?
I missed it.
Yeah, no, you got it.
Good God. It's intense. The music is picking up.
Oh yeah, it's good, eh? Yeah, they hold it down. Those guys, pretty good. I like this music.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, we're still going.
I
oh,
love
we're
it.
still going.
That's all right. That was cool. We, this crowd's still dancing.
This shit's melting.
Man. That's some fat dabs. How's that live resin? You have some of that, the Hindu shatter as well, too?
This be that.
Oh, yeah, that is. That is done right. Shout out.
Oh man. The mad sign.
The Meds.
I'm telling you, those guys at Nectar know what they're talking about.
Oh yeah,
Right?
he's the man. He's been doing it for. Man, I remember when he used to make butter back in like grade 9, before anybody even knew what butter was. Oh yeah, this stuff I was like, yeah, you'd watch people green out on it all the time. It was amazing because they'd be like, oh yeah, only take a pin drop. They'd be like, oh whatever, we smoke shitty weed all the time. We can fucking do whatever we want.
Yeah, right.
They dab it. And one guy sits down on the chair, and he just sitting there, and all of a sudden you look at him, and he just went like green, and then he just eyes shut, and he just fell right over, just out cold.
That's kind of where the
Oh, yeah.
theme song
Face
for the inspiration came for the dab time music, for the intro that. That's about how it goes. Well, Timmy, I got to ask you how it goes, but you know I got a video before I'm gonna start talking to you because I like videos.
Bring it on, man.
Curry. Oh yeah, Tim's Tales.
Yeah, keep
We haven't had this segment in quite a while, but we haven't seen him in even longer when you get into that. But good to have him back here at Studio 710 and on Expert Joints Live. Hell, it's just good to have him here at all. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim McBride.
We be back.
Good to see you, brother.
Everybody. Good to see you, man.
I'm glad you're here at all,
great to
man.
be
I mean,
here, yeah.
without going into all the details, you want to give him a little overview of where you've been the last couple of months before we go too far?
You know, besides working on, some projects that I, mentioned about when I was here last time over the holidays.
That you can fill us in.
With the,
just fill us in on here.
This series stuff is moving along. We'll just kind of skip over that just to know that, it's a process.
Right.
Just like everything else, man.
Right.
I mean, you know this as well as everybody else does.
Sure.
But got some other things going too. Got going to be looking into a documentary, about late summerish,
Right.
somewhere like that. So going to be taking a trip out to LA week after next to meet with my writers and producer, and we're going to bring on another really cool screenwriter friend of mine to to work the doc and stuff. So we're just this is early stages of stuff like that. Plus a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it took a little tumble, and a little life-altering experience. Was kind of a little bit of an awakening, if you will.
Yeah, for those who remember who watched back a little while ago, my man was supposed to be on here one day, and I got a message from him a few minutes before showtime saying, not really going to be able to do the show today. I was kind of in a little bit of a fender bender. It turned out to be a little bit more than a fender bender.
Well, yeah. But it's all good, man.
Here we are in one piece now, anyway. Pieced back together.
Yeah, it's either it's
$1,600
one thing or
man.
another, man. And last summer it was chainsaws and shit trying to take me apart.
Right? And then,
Which I'm still sporting out a pretty gnarly
you gotta get that
scar,
tattoo tot
man.
up, man.
Yeah, I got to get back and get it touched back the fuck up.
But then Ford or GM is trying to take you out next.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's out to get you, man.
Yeah. So, but despite all of that, everything's getting good, man. It's moving forward. I've got some new some brand items that we've been working on, and we'll start to see those here shortly in a few states.
Yeah,
I'm working on a nice CO2 extraction process for some nice oil, and coupled with a couple of guys who are into making medical patches and bandages, and they're already in the medical industry as it is now. So we're gonna go down that road a little bit and delve into the canistrip market as well. We've got some very brilliant people working in that field as well. So we're gonna
I think we talked about glass pieces and accessories as well.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
And that stuff.
I hadn't really. I've got the email just prior to flying here from the guy. That's gonna. He sent me some models to pick out. To alter slightly for prototype. But since I'm take off and come and see you guys, I kind of put that on the burner for a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna make some unique one-off kind of pieces, some glass pieces, nothing real elaborate, but have my Cowboy, Saltwater Cowboy insignia logo, if you will, rather put on there, several different ways, frosted on and infused in the glass, and some really cool shit. So I'm excited about that.
And then, am I allowed to put it out there about this this little book tour thingy you got coming up as well too there through Florida or whatever? Are we still talking
Yeah,
about that?
that was clearly a pretty cool thing that happened, and rather serendipitously, I was trying to get at some legal documents taken care of because I'm selling the home that I was in during the hurricane last year,
Right.
for obvious reasons. I mean,
Yeah.
it got pretty gnarly around there, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I needed to have the witness signatures typed, and I'm thinking, I haven't seen a fucking typewriter in almost 20 years, man. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine at the gym goes, try the library. So I called, and one thing led to another, and they go, yeah, South County Library in Estero. I said, well, that's where I live. Cool. So I went down and got it, and while I'm waiting to get in the room, to use the typewriter, was kind of looking for my book. See, maybe if the off chance they'd have it in there, just biographies or some shit.
Right.
And So my
Or
time, I didn't
adventure
see
or
it.
crime stories or something.
Yeah,
Like,
some
what-
shit like
yeah,
that.
Yeah, what
So
segment are you in?
I didn't see it by the
That's
time
kinda cool.
my time come up for the room, and there's some little a young lady in there from the university, and I said, look, I only need 10 minutes. They maybe booked the room for 30. Give me 30 seconds and type these 3 names, and you can have the room.
for the
I
rest
have
of the
my
day or
time.
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
So after having done that, I went back out to the woman at the desk, and I said, do you by chance have a book named Saltwater Cowboy? She put it in there, and she goes, author Tim McBride. He goes, yeah, that's me. She looks at me and goes, oh, really? That's you? And I said, yeah. So she walks me back to the Florida section. And she said, we don't
it's
have
sort
it.
of
We don't
Florida
have it in
history, I guess,
the
but-
none of the libraries in Florida have it in the biography section. I'm thinking, none of the libraries. So she takes me back there and she pulls the fucking book off the shelf and goes to hand it to me. She says, would you like to check it out? I said, were you not listening to what I was just telling you? I said, take a look at the picture on the book. She looks at, oh my God, yes, that's right. So skipping forward, she's all, I got her hooked, with the shit. And she invites me to come and do an author speaking engagement thing like this, and we usually get, a fairly decent crowd, 20, 25 people. So that's a good crowd. Well, they filled the room up, man. It was kind of, interesting. And I had the gig for an hour, but as typical, like our first engagement was 4.5 hours, right. But I was running into the next booking in the room, for noon, and it just happened to be a luncheon put on by all of the Florida Library. Friends of Florida Libraries. And this woman, after I just, floored her for the last 2 hours, these people got to hear about you. Yeah. I'm going to tell that, so I booked, my entire fall season is almost booked now by, every library in South Florida.
My man. Well, if you're in Florida, you're going to be in Florida, and you'll be like, hey, I don't know what we should do for a tourist thing here on a Saturday afternoon. Go meet Tim.
Yeah, drive through Estero, man. Say, hey, what the fuck?
and get a copy of that book there that's
grab that.
right
that
here.
book.
That book there.
That book be, come here, you freak.
Slippery little bugger.
Where are we here?
There we are.
That book be
Right
that
this-
one
right
right
here.
there.
Right there. That's the one. That's the guy.
This would be the
Little
free
higher.
book.
Little higher. Little higher. Little higher. There you go. Perfect.
Is that better?
Perfect.
Yeah, but out of that too, I wound up getting gotten a hold of by a group, the Florida Cannabis, which goes on every year for I think it may be the 4th or 5th year now. Invited to be the guest keynote speaker, and they're looking at somewhere between 40 and 50,000 in attendance. So I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be a cool.
That'll be awesome.
Fucking
Dude.
A, man.
That'll be a hell of a keynote. When is that? Do you know?
October 14th and 15th.
All right, we'll make sure we plug it somewhere before then. Don't you worry about it. But yeah, man, it's cool that you're starting to do these appearances at sort of various different venues around, and the word is starting to spread and grow a little more and more. Obviously, I think
get taps on the shoulders and like, hey, dude. Hey, yes, it is you, man.
Yeah. That Vice thing was pretty big. A lot of people saw that shit.
Yeah, that was cool.
A lot of people saw
It's,
that. Well, it's funny because I remember when you shot that, you were like calling us in and out. We were there when you were pretty much doing all that stuff, right? And then so finally to see it air, they didn't put, of course, any of the show in there, but nevertheless,
it's
still
making
cool
its way around the globe, man. It's showed up in the Netherlands.
It's big in
I
New
saw that
Zealand.
in the Netherlands. That
New
was
Zealand.
awesome. Yeah.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, man, you guys are doing it well, man. So I appreciate
Bloody
that.
down under, man.
Right? The
Wicked story.
it's a great story, and if you haven't read the story, or you haven't watched the show, or you've watched the show and heard the stories, read the fucking book. You can even get it at a library,
really dreams about doing.
right?
Yeah.
You can get it on the Amazons. You can get
like
it lots
the
of
perfect
places,
life.
but you can get it on
best.
expertjoints.com/shop.
Absolutely. Signed.
Shop, and they're signed, and they're signed
first editions.
first editions.
Yes.
Which is there's not very many signed first editions out there. There's not very many first editions.
No,
left,
they're not.
Right?
Yeah, they're.
So, and as the movie comes out, as the TV show comes out, as the documentaries come out, as all this shit comes out.
When I
along
pull
the
all
way,
these rabbits out of my ass.
right? all the rest of it comes to happen along the way here. These books are going to be harder and harder to come by. And I literally have like, I don't know, 25 left or something. Whatever's on the shelf, bro,
Yeah.
that's that, man. So if you want to get one, you better get at me. I mean, that's the best place to get
Well,
an
I just
autograph
got rid of
one.
another one for you a minute ago.
There you go. So, all right. Keep knocking them out there.
Yeah, and I have thoroughly enjoyed this, man. I enjoy coming and visiting you guys and meeting all these cool people, and we've been kind of back and forth on Instagram about this cool shit right here.
Yeah, it actually works. It's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
I probably should have grabbed the indica one, man, but I ain't mad at that.
This is awesome.
We'll just
Yeah,
get
no,
another
I
later.
gotta.
It's all
Is
good.
that what this one is? The indica?
Indica,
Oh
yeah.
my man.
So
yeah,
it's
I gotta,
indica terpenes, but it is still distillate, right? So it's strong regardless of what. But
Right,
with
right.
the flavoring and the terpenes in it are like this. So the sativa terpenes and the indica terpenes. So it plays a little bit of a difference, but when it's when it's distillate and it's
When it's
that
that
high
heavy, when
percent,
it's that
it's
strong,
that high
right.
percent, right?
You know what? It doesn't matter. It comes through that. It's good because I was when we did Dab Time. I was here for was it the Christmas or New Year's when
Something like that,
I
yeah.
did West Coast stuff.
Yeah. When we had the smoke out.
The
with
gangs
everybody.
all here, everybody
Gangs
that
all
show.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was nice. It's always nice, man.
Well, and what else is nice? Tim's Instagram page, Original Saltwater Cowboy, is the Instagram page there.
That's it.
He's also, of course, got the old, hey, look, there's pictures of around here. There's also, of course, he's got the Pot Holler Tim Twitter page. And yeah, I said the book you can get anywhere, but you want to get it from me. From an expert.
Yeah, you know what? That's the thing I've been trying. I've said it a number of times, and I'm not. I'm particularly fond of saying it. It's always enjoyable, and it's always fun to tell this story in any fashion, any way, shape, or form, at any time for anyone, whether if there's 50,000 people or there's 2 people or there's 1 person, Cindy sitting in the room. I enjoy just imparting these stories. So that, more to the point, it's very much one thing to do that, and give you guys, a little piece of my life and the way it went. But it's very much another thing to get you to get off your ass and go buy the damn thing.
Right.
You
Get the
know,
audiobook
no
download,
disrespect intended, but
audible.com.
Hook a brother up, man.
Can you get it on
You
Audible?
know,
Yeah.
and if you don't want to
That's
read,
awesome.
you can get it. There's an Audible version on Amazon. You can have it fucking told to you.
I got a bunch of buddies that are gonna be pumped that they can get on
Yes.
Audible.
It's not in his voice, which it should be, but nevertheless, you've heard his voice, so you know what it should
I'm
be.
really working
And in
on
case
that.
you're new to the party, in case I'll sum this up. He's one of the biggest pot haulers of all time. Imported more than, what should I say? Imported, smuggled, straight up smuggled.
Paid
Ain't
taxes,
gonna lie,
brought it in.
It's still an import,
That's what the government called it.
right? Smuggled 30 million pounds of cannabis through Southwest Florida in the 70s and 80s.
As a kid.
Killing it,
Working
and the
with-
book
you know
is
what?
all about it.
And I also remember that it takes 50 to 60 people to make one of these jobs work. So I can't, without that village, I could not have done it.
And for
I
more,
don't
you
take
can
credit
hear
for it.
you can hear about the whole town who was in on it in the book Saltwater Cowboy: The Rise and Fall of a Marijuana Empire by our man Tim McBride. Man, I know you know the book, but did you know?
You come up with one, huh?
I got one, yeah. Did you know? Now, maybe some people did this one today. This might be. Yeah, this one might be. Some people knew this one actually, but every week more random trivia, odd facts, weird tips, useless info. But today, this one's actually kind of good. Did you know? Today is Tommy Chong's birthday. Born Thomas B. Kin Chong on May 24th, 1938, in Edmonton, Alberta. He would go on to call both Calgary and Vancouver home, just like me, before reaching his high level of fame. Well, we got the high part in common anyway. And also, we actually went to the same junior high for a brief period. Not at the same time. I'm not that old. It's his 80th birthday. But same junior high, so I'm wondering if there might have been some weed in the water or something, because apparently
A stash left behind.
something, for whatever reason it is, both of us can huff a fair bit of the herbals. But anyway, I do appreciate all of that. And happy birthday to Tommy Chong, 80 years old.
Happy
Good for you, brother.
birthday.
Hope to be able to get an interview with that guy one
Oh,
day.
man.
Definitely on a bucket list, man. We'll see if that ever happens. Anyway, that's it for that. So if you want to, probably I'm sure you can wish Tommy a happy birthday somewhere on social media. But while you're on the websites anyway, go visit cannabisdispensary.ca. Go check that out. Go visit 91supreme.com. Go check that out. Go to mmjcanada. Oh. Okay. Go back to MMJ Canada pretty soon. Yeah, that's yeah. Okay, MMJ Canada's under maintenance right now, so go see them in store and come back online. Follow them on social then anyway.
Sorry for wasting your time. Oh,
right. LibertyFarms.ca and topleaf.ca, as well as, of course, shop.thompsoncaribou.com. Go check out the squad over there. Save 10% for new patients on the first purchase till the end of May. You got one more week using the code WELCOME10. Just go in there, shop.thompsoncaribou.com, and then WELCOME10. That's all you got to do. Do that during this maybe little commercial. Well, it's going to be a short one. This little break. Yeah, maybe do it after the show. Whatever, doesn't matter. Just make sure you do it because now's a good time. But if you do, hurry back because we got more to go.
Sir,
Yeah. All right, boys.
it's no smoking.
We're doing one last little filming thing. We're heading in. Okay? It's all good.
You see the smart. Okay, no, parking, smoking area.
Hey, did you hear that some dude tried to light up inside the convention floor? Fucking asshole. That's my camera? No? We already, yeah. There we go. What does it say? Right, it says news. That's what it was. News, that's the segment now. Okay. Threw me off then. Wait. I think we just usually roll into that right after the commercials, so I think I duffed him for it. And I was like, wait, did that happen or didn't that? Wait, how long was I? Hang on. But anyway, yes, it is the news. That makes way more sense now. In the news, it's no surprise, it's no news that it's smoky in here, but this week, a lot going on in the news and some topical shit that I thought I could bring in a guest to help us with the news, so please welcome back to the show to complete the smuggling solicitor, although it's not really appropriate, but it sounded better than the smuggling criminal defense lawyer, Sarah Leamon.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
Hard to see you in here.
It is. I'm waving, but I'm also waving with smoke.
Yeah, I know, because obviously it's still not quite the summer yet. Last time I asked you some questions, and you
forest
said I would
fires.
answer them in the summer, and it's not quite summer
It's
yet.
not quite there yet.
But a few things in the news that I thought were really up your alley, or down right in your lane. You were really in the driver's seat on.
Yep.
I can keep going with all that stuff, but I'll stop at the red light. Sarah Leamon, of course, is most well-known, I guess, to this point, besides being a super awesome guest on my show. I mean, that's probably how she's best known at this point. No, but she's honestly probably best known for being like, aren't you that lawyer I saw on the news on the TV when they asked about the questions about the things? And the answer is like, yeah, that's Sarah.
Yeah.
But a lot about impaired driving is
Yes.
mostly your shtick, or has been to a certain point, although
Yeah.
cannabis is starting to come more in your wheelhouse a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But been a lot happening in obviously both of those worlds, but in the whole driving thing, and I saw a number of stories around it. There's like actually about 4 of them that all I'm kind of putting into one news story because you're here. We can touch on this a little bit, and then maybe you got some thoughts on some of the rest of the news too. But we don't usually have a guest for the news, so I kind of thought it was good to have you in the place to be. So all started with what I saw. This is Pralister, so he's the the premier from Manitoba, pushing for answers from Ottawa on the marijuanas. Says, damn it, Justin. We need to know what's the deal with the doobies, dude. Seriously.
I think we're all feeling that way.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, there is a bunch of that. I mean, let's face it. No matter which way it goes, whether we like the rules, we don't like the rules, at some point you have to say, okay, and here is the line, good, bad, needs to move somewhere. And now it's going to start working and implementing stuff. And not that I believe there needs to be a heavy level of control and regulation, and they're, in my opinion, overdoing it. But they're all pleading for, and why he's saying with this, he says, because we can't put ourselves out there. They need to know an answer, not only for when the deadline is, so that they can start planning around that date, but also to know like some more stuff in the regards to drunken driving training, or sorry, not drugged driving.
That's right.
So, and the lack of the information and support around that. And being able to say, well, what date is this going to happen, and when do we start, and how do we get the support and tools and money that we need, and all that crap that they're screaming for, right?
Yeah, so we need to wait for the federal government to pass the law so that then the provincial government can start enacting their own regulations. So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. I think that a lot of the delay that's happened here with the feds has been the Senate. The Senate's been holding these bills up now for about 18 months while they conduct their study, but they're actually coming to a close now. And they made a couple of amendments to it that are pretty important when it comes to impaired driving. But I think that we're going to see a little bit more movement on it, but I don't think it's going to meet the July 1st deadline.
Well, that was, you know, and as Mr. Backtrack says, but nice hair though.
Nice hair goes a long way.
It's not that nice. Yours is lovely, but still. Yeah, it's kind of like he was the one who said, hey, I never said it was going to be July 1st, because he doesn't necessarily want to associate with Cannabis Day and Canada Day and all that stuff. So whenever it's supposed to be, I do realize that, like them or not, policies and procedures and manuals and people and training and departments and all that government crap takes time to set up. And if you can only probably forecast and speculate so much to a point as to, well, how much space or how much people or how much money or what gear you may or may not need. But I guess it becomes to the point where you can't request the funds from the government or something until the things are actually in place to it. Like it's got to be kind of difficult, which makes my whole point of before, when we talked last time, how ridiculous is some of the level of what they're trying to do with the enforcement and how they're trying to regulate this in general.
For sure.
Right?
There's a lot of overregulation happening, I think. So.
Yeah. Right? And then, I mean, not that I'm trying to advocate for impaired driving, and I'm not trying to say that every person who thinks, dude, I drive better when I'm stoned, is actually right. But I do think that line of what qualifies for impairment and the ability to know that someone is or isn't impaired. Because I tell you, if I didn't have a joint in my mouth and if I didn't happen to smell like weed walking down the street after all the joints we'd smoke, I'm pretty sure you would have a very difficult time knowing that I had had any sort of level of drugs to potentially be impaired on.
Yeah, but you're a bit of an anomaly. You really are, right?
And you are a certified drug recognition expert. So.
Yeah.
The mystery wrapped in a riddle.
Yeah. You have some special status there. But, I mean, it does come down to that. Like, what is impairment? What does that mean when it comes to drugs? And it's not just cannabis. It's other drugs as well. It's completely different than alcohol.
Yeah.
So the government's trying to treat them in the same way, and that's just, in my view, inappropriate.
Well, and again, I mean, you get an anomaly like an Andre the Giant who can have 105 beers and, you know, and still walk out of the room or something. You know, not everyone is 7.5 feet tall, 400, 500 pounds. I admit there's not a lot of people who can probably smoke like I can, but the level of impairment is a very, very subjective thing with cannabis, and it's a lot more clear-cut with alcohol, typically.
For sure.
Even decide between Tim's size to my size to whatever size to the amount there's a little bit closer grouping anyway of clustering. With cannabis,
And a little metabolism involved.
yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Of course, there's some of that, and obviously your familiarity with it and your experience and
But it's detectable at a quantifiable amount.
yeah,
That's right.
At that time.
Yeah.
This what we're talking about here is speculation.
exactly right. And then you get to the point of, well, it also becomes harder and harder to prove when you actually consume.
That's right.
You can test for it could be in your system from 30 days ago.
Right.
How do you know
That's
for
right.
sure that was from the last 3 hours?
That's right. So
Right.
that's the major difference is that alcohol is water soluble, so it's metabolized by everybody's body at more or less the same rate.
Right.
So once it's in your body, you're being affected by it, but when it's out, and that's the end of it.
Right.
Cannabis is completely different. Fat
Even though you
soluble.
get water soluble cannabis now. But yeah, it's still going to be different. It's still going to be a little bit different for everybody because you
Yes.
metabolize it in a different way because everybody's endocannabinoid system responds in a different
Right.
way as well.
That's right.
It's not so much of a drug. It's really more of a supplement that has been poorly categorized, really.
But regardless of that, it has that lingering effect.
Yeah.
So it still translates into you get stopped and you show up. It shows up, but you hadn't smoked in 2 weeks.
Right.
There's still who's to say?
Right. And
Where's the baseline?
And
Where
I'm
are you
very
coming
happy to be like, I had a lot of edibles. I don't want to drive. I probably could,
No.
but I don't feel like it.
Nope.
It's not. I know where my line is.
Yeah.
Responsible.
Nope.
To, I'm good. Like I don't
the
interest in
driver
that. But what they did, leading to the next part of the story is just a handful of police officers in BC can identify drivers high on the Mary Joannas. Police across BC will likely struggle to catch people too high to drive when legalization occurs later this year due to a lack of detection technology and the limited number of officers trained to identify impaired drivers. The only officers capable of nabbing drivers impaired by cannabis or other drugs are specifically trained drug recognition experts, or the DREs. Dre's. Dr. Dre in the place to be. Police
Always
officers who
snitching,
act something
always
like
snitching.
human
What a
breathalyzers for
coincidence.
drugs. But there's just a handful of these officers in BC. More than 6,000 RCMP officers serving in provincial municipal detachments. However, there are only 88 DRE officers to go around. One for every 38,000 drivers in BC can actually detect. So if they pull you over and they need to call in a DRE, if one's not available, it becomes up to the less experienced officer on site to make
Maybe
their
let's time
best
this out.
assumption. But I think
Wow.
it gets into the point where gray area starts to come along there, right?
Yeah, you do actually need a DRE in order to conduct these investigations the way the federal government's setting it up for impaired driving at a criminal level. So you would need them, or else you would have to get a bodily sample, like a blood sample. But that doesn't really tell you anything about impairment. It doesn't correlate the way the person's being affected with what's actually in their body. So the DREs are necessary, and they are very rare. I mean, only 88 in all of BC. My understanding is that right now for the DRE program, officers have to actually travel down to the US in order to get their training, and that comes at a pretty penny,
Yeah.
and also a lot
Yeah.
of time.
Good. Yeah, so
Nice.
I've seen that.
Nice
Well,
snack.
and that's the thing.
Light
So
it.
the next story, RCMP is rolling out drug-impaired driving training for more officers. Like the picture on there. But when they say smoke created by water vapor billows out of the windows of a
cadet
car
could
during
figure
a
that one out.
demonstration by the Colorado Police Department in
I
simulation.
think
No,
something's
you
on fire
definitely,
here. I
you
don't know,
definitely
I think-
can't do that.
Definitely smoking.
So yeah, so
Start
they're going to
trying to
roll
light
out a new
the car on
program
fire.
to train police officers across the country with special emphasis on cannabis, introduction. They're calling it the program the Introduction to Drug Impaired Driving, and including Cannabis Border Services will be involved. And I even saw it with this first article, another one, but they'll be going down to like places in Arizona and other places in the States to go for training. And they've already allocated 1.6 plus million on it, with more to go. It's a big deal. But it says the police the DRE trains people, because it says police, but I say people right now, to use a 12-step system to detect drug impairment in drivers, including examining one's eyes, attention, blood pressure, and pulse.
Yes.
And here they go. Vancouver,
Almost so
Winnipeg,
low.
Jacksonville, Florida, Phoenix, Jacksonville, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Vancouver, Winnipeg. There you go. So those are the places where they're going to. So let me just round the street from you, Timmy.
Yeah, so they got our knuckleheads teaching your knuckleheads.
Yeah, yeah. A bunch of guys who don't
up
know
with that?
shit
Yeah.
teaching a bunch of other guys who don't know shit. But the reason I bring all that up is because, well, you've actually been trained, and we talked about that before. You've taken the course. You're
Yes.
a certified expert right
I
here.
am.
Yeah.
I took a condensed version of it. The real course is actually multiple days long.
So tell
but-
me, do you think I'm stoned?
Well, I've
seriously,
been with you for
give me
quite
your
a few
expert
hours,
opinion.
so I'm gonna have to say, probably
Based on your
not.
powers of
Am I hooked
observation,
up?
watching you consume all that cannabis, I would have to say probably.
Have you got a few cards on you? Because we were like talking.
Yeah, I was like, I think
Absolutely,
I'm
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
we need her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I
need
think
her.
that actually one of the funniest things about the DRE test they do, that 12-step test they do, is that the 10th step, I think it is just ask the person.
Yeah.
Just ask them, what have you used? You know?
Yeah, but
Right.
why,
So
why
they
wouldn't
go-
that be first?
I bet you,
think it
but I
should be
bet you
first.
they
Save a lot of
trip
time.
somebody up, and I bet you there's been people that have been like, oh, I smoked a oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Like, you know that's happened.
Yeah, maybe you're
You know
building
they
rapport.
tripped him up with
Maybe-
there's a simple question.
And there's the guy that says nothing with a doobie behind his ear.
Right?
What are you talking about?
Well, and then to that effect, so to try to figure all this out, we're talking about testing Edmonton police. So this is one city in Canada. You know, there's not that many huge, bigger cities in the country. You know, we got a lot of people here, but Edmonton's almost 1 million people anyway, or around 1 million people or something like that. But I think it is just a little over. Edmonton police are going to spend new money on devices, $1.4 million in ongoing and one-time funding to prepare for legalization this summer.
Okay, but what devices? That's my big question, because none of them are actually approved for use in this country. So they're still looking at 2 devices right now. They're testing them, but it's going to be probably about 2 years before they're actually going to be ready to go with officers trained on them and all the kinks worked out.
Yeah, they figure that testing will cost more than $300,000 per year. And the one-time police service to buy all the gear, but they say there is just no device that's been approved for use in Canada yet. I would expect the device will sometime available, that it will be sometime incoming. It may be that legalize happens and we don't have a device yet.
They're not going to have a device. I mean, I can pretty much just say that they're not going to, with the deadline approaching and they still haven't approved anything. And then it's a matter of actually getting the devices. If you think about the breathalyzer device, it's actually something that doesn't cost a whole lot of money, and then conducting the roadside test is actually maybe a couple of cents. It's just for the straw you blow into.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's able to analyze that that breath sample
Instantly
really quickly,
and quickly and effectively
really quickly.
efficient. Sure.
It's not that way for the 2 devices that they're trying to use for oral fluid screeners. They are going to cost hundreds of dollars to administer at the roadside. The margin of error is huge for officers who are doing it. I mean, this is like a multi piece device that they have to assemble at the roadside. It's almost like a little chemistry lab for them. You know, it involves printers, all kinds of things. It takes about 20 minutes to analyze the sample once it's been collected. I mean, I just see so many problems with it.
Yeah, this can open up all kinds of holes for a really good lawyer to fit right apart. Just tear that shit up.
Just give me a schematic.
Right?
New client here.
Right? So
My partners are like, yeah,
I
get
guess
her
at
to
that
come
point,
for
I
lunch
mean,
with us next
there,
week or
yeah,
something.
there is so many holes in that. There's so many holes in like people's civil liberties. There's all kind of double standards across the board that we're seeing. What's okay for one is not okay for the other, and also, but see, that's another thing. I mean, part of like what cannabis, it's not necessarily what's good for one, but one person's experience is always going to be slightly different experience. We've sat here and all smoked the same amount of weed, well, except you, but
By proxy.
right, and we're all having a little different experience, although we're in the same room at the same time.
Right.
It just is what it is, and that's one of the things that makes it tricky. And I really do feel that they're going to have a long, difficult road with all the challenges that come along, and especially all these really good lawyers out there who are going to tear this shit apart.
Yeah, and I also want to point out that like marijuana impaired driving is not going to be new. It's happening. It's been happening for years, decades. You know, this isn't something that's just going to suddenly explode on our roadways.
Well, it's absolutely. We actually we've seen
40+ years
after
for
this,
me.
we've seen enough of the statistics in places like Colorado and Washington. And maybe sometimes you see a little bit of spike in use, but often you go right back to the same levels of the regular use before, and sometimes even a little bit less.
That's right.
You know, it's not going to change that much. I think it's it's obviously a grab for money into a lot of ways, and it is I mean, it's kind of apparent when we see all these people. Oh, we need this much money for this. We need this much money for this. It's
an opportunity.
Right. To fund
More than
people and
anything
just
else.
change it. Well, we can't really chase them for this anymore, so we'll chase them this way. So let's go buy some new gear and spend some more money and continue the push. That's why I'm flailing around like that, because that's what they're doing. And I dropped my scissors. That was an accident. That was an accident. But they are really just flailing around like that, and I think in a lot of ways it's a big grab, obviously with all the people they've implanted and stuff. And we see that, and there's proof of it when the Liberal MPs here vote to maintain an excise tax on medical cannabis despite pushback from patients. No, it's okay. We're going to keep all of our money between recreational, medicinal, whatever. We're taxing it all. Liberal members of the Finance Committee have voted against an amendment that could have led to the exemption of medical cannabis from C-74's proposed excise tax. Perhaps 4,000 or more Canadians have written to the members of this committee to oppose the new system, tax regime for cannabis for medical purposes. They go on to say there are more than 260,000 people in this program who've all openly criticized their tax plan. And I think it's terrible. I mean, this recreational is one thing, but going to put on tax on people's actual medicine, whether you take a prescription or not, is, I think that in a new thing like this where you're already taking so much money, you got to go ahead and take out of the patient's profits. Like, not only is this a huge transition for people already, you see more proof that, no, it's okay, we're going to tax everything we can to the highest level that we can possibly get away with, but they've always said it's never about money.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely problematic. I think that there should be an exemption there for people who are patients and they're medical marijuana users. I mean, I'm definitely not a tax lawyer. I'm not going to pretend that I understand any of the Tax Act. I really don't. I don't think I've ever even touched it one day. But just from a common sense perspective, it seems like it should be something that is exempt.
Right? Like, and at least, especially to start with anyway or something, they're going to get all the money they want. As it is off it is anyway. They've set themselves up to come out to win in this whole situation quite nicely. Stacking the deck, but it is what it is, man. I mean, I hope that you would hope that all these people who put in all these efforts and sign the petitions and write a letter and stuff would make an impact, and they read them all off and they do it, and then okay, so everybody, nope, ding, 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 just on to the next one. Tacking on more taxes, fucking with people even more. And here's the other thing. So condo boards are racing to clamp down on cannabis before pot becomes legal. Some residents see the move as a slippery slope, suggesting boards shouldn't police what goes on inside homes. I mean, really, I understand to some degree the not wanting to have a grow up, per se, a large-scale grow. If you've got a plant or two on your balcony, or you've, safely set up something in a room that's done properly, you can do it with minimal to no impact on you. You're not going to grow mold everywhere. You're not going to flood the place. You're not going to do all that shit if you do it smart.
Yeah.
And this whole suggested plan of products can't be seen by your neighbors. All this other stuff is crazy, but we've been given the
they're
right.
getting very innovative with these little pods that come units. You just grow your shit right in there.
There's little cabinets and closets
You
and
gotta
stuff.
think for the one guy that does it right, there's 5 guys that just fuck it up.
Of course.
That's the way it works, right?
Right. So I can understand
I
to
get it
some
from
degree
both sides,
if you're in a
but-
rental building or something, or you're in a apartment where you could flood places below you. I sort of understand the arguments there. I'm not trying to pick that apart, but what they are starting to move for is that downtown condo board banning the use of marijuana on its building property, even as pot becomes legal across the country. So a move that some residents obviously say that regulating what they do behind closed doors.
But see, this doesn't surprise me because, I live in a condo in downtown Vancouver and I'm not allowed to smoke on my balcony. I don't smoke, but if I have a friend over who does, you can't have cigarettes on balconies. So, it's just an inconvenient, I guess, reality for people who live in condos is that we do have to be able to accommodate other people's ability to use their property quietly and to enjoy it. And, it can be an irritant.
Well, I understand to some degree. Not everybody likes the smell, but
I'm totally irritated.
But same with cigarette smoke. I think cigarette
Right.
smoke is absolutely disgusting.
I think it smells way worse.
Amen to
Way
that.
worse. And
Oh
I
my
remember
God.
way back in the day when I, was an undergraduate student living in Calgary, Alberta, working in the bars, and it was still legal to smoke then
Yep.
inside of bars. And I remember going home from work and it was disgusting, So at that time it was really normal. And now I think back about it, and it's actually kind of crazy that people are allowed to smoke cigarettes wherever they wanted. So it's just going to be kind of the same concept, I think, when it comes to cannabis.
The only problem for me is okay, obviously there's whatever. Rec is still that line, but there are some people who don't really have a choice. They don't have a choice where they live because they can't move. There are some people who can't go outside, who are physically limited, and the only thing that works for them is cannabis. I mean, maybe they can, switch to edibles to some degree.
West Coast Smoke Co. Vape.
Right? Well,
Yeah, there you go.
Right there.
Yeah.
So some people may find relief from vape pens. Some people might find relief from vaping or sublimators, things
Right.
like that, dabs and stuff
Right.
that don't quite leave the same linger and
Right.
the same odor as smoking joints does or doing bongs rips does.
Right.
So I mean, it comes down to a very fine line as to fuck you! You can't tell me this is what I need to live,
That
right?
leaves you with excuse me,
No,
but I was
no.
just had to say that leaves you with a similar scenario that's taking place in Florida, where it's become medically legal, and now we're beginning our dispensaries online. Everybody's getting our card. I'm waiting on the state to get approval from my card, but they denied us the flower. The very thing by which everything else is made, except they won't let us have that, which is ridiculous. So they're kind of, in a way doing the same thing. They're not allowing you to have the very thing that,
You can
some
have it,
people
but you just
need that
can't.
medicine.
You can't smoke it anywhere. You
Right.
can't consume it
Some
anywhere.
people need
Right.
that type of consumption in order to get benefit from that medicine, but they're being denied it.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
not does that mean people who obviously in a place like not everybody owns their apartments or their condos or their houses or whatever. All those people, of course, they're trying not to really allow lounges either.
Right.
So, and of course, you can't really smoke out on the street or out in
Yep.
the parks. So
Yep.
what the hell are people going to do?
Yeah, that's a big question. I mean, I think that we're going to see the exact same restrictions around smoking cannabis that we see with cigarettes, and I mean, people are very limited for that as well. So there's going to be a lot of compromise and a lot of kinks to work out there.
Yeah, that's where I think it comes down to the point where it's just going to become very difficult to enforce when everybody is doing it. How do you necessarily police someone for it? You know, you get good air purifiers in your house. You can open your windows. You have dab devices or vape pens or any of that sort of stuff. I think that's a pretty reasonable compromise to some degree. I get it. You may not want to hotbox your neighbors if you've got paper thin windows or walls or cracks, or you're hotboxing the people above you. There's some level of infringement, but I also believe there is a certain level that we have the right that we've been given to be able to access our medicine. So. Slippery slope, going to be a hard fight going there.
Absolutely.
One thing we also have seen, though, is that talking about cigarettes there, and the kids, because they're always trying to protect the children. Of course, teens are choosing cannabis over cigarettes and alcohol as their first drug. Well, good.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good. And that's no, but seriously, partly so it says a survey which pulled data from young people between the ages of 12 and 21 found that in 2014, nearly 9% of first-time users went straight for weed, up from 4.8% a decade earlier. Okay, probably more accessible at that point, and the stigmas are going around it. Plus, that's 12 to 21. That's a pretty big spread.
Yeah.
I mean, that can include a lot of people 18, 19, 20, 21 who now have access to cannabis in a bunch of legal states. I mean, that's kind of... there's a fine line calling that child health.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's a tough one right there for me to struggle. But also, here's the other thing. At the same time, the percentage of young people who started off with cigarettes decreased from 21% to 9% over the same 10-year period.
Well, that's great news.
Yeah,
Right?
That's good.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
So we see, good. So
Disgusting.
people are stopping poisoning themselves with tobacco and liquor, and they're healing themselves with cannabis, and are being more open to it. And these test results are kind of for not kids and teens. It's teens and adults.
And I feel like I actually seen some similar statistics around prescription drugs recently, and kids kind of accessing prescription drugs and their parents, drug cabinets and using them for recreational purposes. So that's really disturbing to me, and that's much more disturbing than thinking about like a 21-year-old smoking a joint.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, and one of those could kill you because it's funny. Some of those little pills are like as big as this little tiny little piece of my hand weed that you can't see right now, and it'll kill you.
Yes.
Fucking dead.
Yeah.
Straight up. So that's crazy. And actually, that's what actually happened to 2 police officers in Toronto who consumed some marijuana edibles, allegedly, after a raid. Yeah, you guys remember them. The 2 police officers from Toronto who consumed some edibles after a raid at a cannabis, because it's bad for you, so they were raiding it and taking it away, but instead they decided to eat some because, cannabis is good for you. And they were just doing their job, pal. Anyway, they have been charged with breach of trust and obstruction of justice after allegedly consuming cannabis edibles while on duty.
Yeah, I saw the story when it came out, and I had to laugh at it because, I mean, how stupid can they be?
Hang on.
Oh,
Okay.
there's more.
I
Yeah,
usually don't
well,
really even go to this
let's
whole thing,
jump
but,
another level.
but I gotta tell
Shall
this
we?
whole story in case y'all don't know. So the 2 officers attempted to obstruct, pervert, or defeat the course of justice by destroying or converting into their own use evidence contrary to the Criminal Code of Canada. That's all legal. That's all lawyery, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Charges were laid in connection with an incident that occurred on January 28th in the early hours of the morning. Multiple sources have told CTV News Toronto, because, they're always the most on it and fair to the Canadian cannabis community. But still, this story is kind of funny. So, that 2 officers were surveilling an area near Vaughan Road and Oakwood Avenue when they allegedly ingested the edibles and started to hallucinate. According to police sources, one of the officers left the vehicle, climbed a tree, and became stuck, prompting the other to radio for assistance.
Cat in the tree.
The sources also say that the female officer responding to the call slipped and suffered a serious head injury.
Oh man.
Toronto Police Association confirmed she was taken to the hospital with
Super
concussion.
Troopers 3.
Both officers were suspended with pay pending an investigation.
Suspended with pay? That's not bad.
Now, Toronto Police Source Nation will not
shit.
confirm the
Yeah.
details of the
Yeah.
allegations, but we're told the edibles were looked into. The edibles were stolen during one of the dispensary raids. Anyway, a
Yeah, that
professional-
sounds like a plot from a Seth Rogen movie.
right,
Yeah.
right.
It's really, really not good.
No,
No,
They
and I
just
mean when
spent
police
their whole
officers end up getting charged like this, it's much more serious than when civilians do. I mean, these people they have a duty to the public and they have a duty to society that when they confiscate this evidence, they need to be maintaining it, not eating it and then going on a
What do
frolic
you
of
think they
their
did their
own.
entire suspension?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Just
crazy.
ate the rest of them.
and then don't fucking green out and think you're gonna
Yeah.
die and shit
Getting
like
caught.
that. Here's the advice: you're gonna be okay.
Have you ever heard
Yeah.
the
Go
cop?
home and sleep it off.
Yeah, go throw up, go be shaky and sweaty and jittery and feel all anxious and shit. In a few hours, you'll be fine.
Have you ever heard the ambulance
But see,
call?
police don't know this because one
they're
of the
fucking-
things,
Like, the two
one of the
cops, the
things they
husband and wife?
ask a police officer when they are going into depot for training is, have you ever used drugs and have you smoked marijuana? And they want them to say no, or that they maybe tried it once and never again, or something like that. So people who are police officers don't know a lot about marijuana and drugs and how they actually work.
Right.
They know what they've been taught, and what they've been taught is not always exactly right.
What you've been taught is not what you wind up with.
That's right, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you teaching a little bit what's going on. Always a lot happening. As well, too, as you got a new podcast that's on the go. Is that not right?
Yes, I do. It's called Sarah Leamon Law Talks Radio, and you were actually on the last episode.
I was.
I put them out on the first of every month.
Thank you.
My first two episodes were they were about marijuana. I'm taking it in a different direction for my third episode, which will be on the 1st of June. It's going to be about sex work, and I'm interviewing a sex worker and some people who work in the nonprofit industry there. So it's going to be interesting.
I love it. Well, let's get into the update section and run the video there, and we can hear a little bit more about that and all the rest of the stuff you got going on, shall we? So, who's on the episode for June 1st? Can you tell us?
Yeah, so June 1st, I have already recorded it. I'm just in that
Yeah.
editing process, which is, of course, the most fun part of the podcast experience
And
for
time-consuming.
anyone who does it. But I did interview a sex worker named Carmen Shafty, and she's very interesting. She was telling me all about her practice here as a sex worker in Vancouver. And I also interviewed Carolyn Dirksen, who is a woman who works for PACE Society, which I'm involved in as well. I'm the board chair, and Carolyn works in the role as a community educator, so she does a lot of work hands-on with sex workers and other members of the community. So they're both very interesting discussions, and I would highly suggest, if you have any interest in hearing about it, to tune in.
How do they do that? Where do they listen to it?
Right now it is just on SoundCloud, but you can access it through my Instagram as well as my Twitter. Both of them are Sarah Leamon Law, and my website too, sarahleamonlaw.com. So I post links to it on all of those.
This website right here?
That's the one. There I am.
That website right
Yep.
there. I love it. And of course, you got some events and a few things you're going to be speaking at coming up here, are you not?
Yeah, in the next 2 weeks, so June 7th, I believe it is, I'm going to be speaking at the Cannabis conference, which is in Toronto.
Yes.
I'm speaking on 2 panels there, one of them about impaired driving and drugs, and the other one about regulations, different legal issues. So it'll be really fun. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I know some good people you can talk to in Toronto. Tell them I say hi.
Perfect.
And that you'll be back in the summer. No, I'm kidding. Also, yes, of course, Sarah Leamon Law on the Instagram as well as the .com. Great place to check her out. And you can also check her out in the voting or in the results when they start coming out for the 25 most influential lawyers or something. Or like, what's your deal?
Yeah. Voting
Really?
has closed. Voting is closed.
Congratulations.
I couldn't believe that I was on this list. I actually didn't know. Nobody told me. It was kind of like you when you won that award for best TV show. Or
this podcast.
Yeah.
Found out after. It was kind of like that. I just went on there out of curiosity to see who I was going to vote for, and found out that I had been nominated. So I don't know who did that, but thank you to whoever you
Right.
are for doing that. And it was a huge honor, obviously. So fingers crossed. Hopefully I end up winning, but it was an honor just to be nominated in the first place.
Well, shit, we'll be watching the Sarah Leamon Law on the Instagram and the .coms and all that stuff for all the latest. I'm sure there's always, big things going on with you and lots happening and stuff. Of course, we'll see you on the news once in a while. Be like, hey, didn't I see her on Craig's show? Yes, yeah. You did.
Yeah, you saw me here first.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Anything else? Plugs, shout-outs we missed, things we need to know about?
I think we've covered it all, really. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, then in that case, on Sunday we released the article Pot Pockets from Ashley Priest of Cannabis. Shouts to James and Ashley for all their continued efforts. And as well, yes, like I say, go on over to the expertjoints.com/shop. Go buy a hoodie or a t-shirt or a book from a man, Tim McBride over there, a medtainer. Go get all those things. There's lots of them all available on the website there, man. We'll get them out to you right away before they're gone, because there's only so many of them.
There's a lot of cool stuff in there.
Right? Yeah. As soon as people come in, they're like, oh, well, I want one of those. So yeah, you guys are gonna hurry up, because everybody who comes in the office is like, oh, I'm gonna take one of those, man. So slowly just piecing away, y'all. Hurry the fuck up. Just saying. Anyway, also next week on the show, weed and guests and more, and I think hopefully, I don't know, I don't want to jinx myself, but maybe somebody who maybe I've been waiting to get this interview for a long time. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Watch the show announcement on Sunday. Let's just say that. Also, shows. Cannabis Culture News, Friday. Jeremiah Vandermeer most of the time. Like 60-40. What?
He's busy opening the new shop.
Yeah, right. I'm not wrong. Dude's fucking busy. Anyway, lots of times Cookie and Johnny B and a whole cast of the crew with him. High Noon with Alyssa and Miles on Saturdays at noon. They're all there on the Pot TV. The Royal Hour with Ms. Kush Queen on Sundays at 2. 420 Lifestyle with Carly Marley and BC Budcow Monday at 4. Puffa Podcast with the homies Big Lock and Big Puffa. Lock was in the place to be. I don't know if he's still around here, but shouts to him earlier. They're on, of course, the Tuesdays at 4. Under the Influence with Greg Marijuana Man Williams, Al the Alchemist, and once again, In Between, Ms. Kush Queen, Wednesdays at 4 o'clock. And, of course, this show is in podcast form over there at saveonradio.com, Fridays 2 to 4. Go check me out over there. I'm thinking July, I'm going to start doing a something. Descriptive, right?
Something.
I think.
Could you be a little more vague?
A little more.
Yeah, I could.
I think in the future I'm just going to be doing something.
I think stuff and junk,
I'll be busy.
Awesome, bro.
right? I got things to
We're
do.
just doing things.
Just stuff, no big
Stuff,
deal.
things,
Stuff.
doing,
Shaking
getting
it up.
things done.
No, I'm kind of thinking that I might actually start doing that show live and a little bit louder and a little different, and I got some stuff in mind for that one. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, Save on Radio, Fridays 2 to 4. Shout to saveonradio.com. Everybody involved. Also, everybody involved with this show. El Jefe from Los Muertos, as well as the West Coast Smoke Co. Thank you for the buds and the pens.
Nice stuff.
Mhm. And, of course, Nectar
Always
Extracts as well, too, for the lovely bits for
Maurice
downtown
Men's,
there.
yeah, all the boys.
Killer. Oh, Tim McBride, obviously, as well, too. Saltwater Cowboy. Glad to have you back here, brother, man.
Oh man, good to be back.
Always welcome. And you can wear shorts this time.
In a while, yeah. Yeah, I can actually. I don't have to do that.
Pants.
Layering thing? Layers. Yeah,
Layers.
layers.
We dressed in layers,
I learned
bro.
about layers, man. Not
dressed in
no,
layers, bro.
Peeling me like a friggin' onion.
And the one and only Sarah Leamon. I appreciate you so much for coming through. Anytime, you're always welcome. And congrats. Welcome to the media game with your podcast self.
Thank you.
I'll be back anytime you need a cannabis expert. And I'm telling you, I'm getting closer and closer to being able to coordinate this drug recognition expert testing thingy.
Yeah, we have to do that.
I want to get it on video.
Yep.
Yeah, leave it to you to get it dialed in.
Right? Shouts to CLN. We're getting there, man. Dialing it in. Thanks for Curry for hanging out and troubleshooting that YouTube thing at the beginning as well, too. Hanging out, doing the show. Thanks for Andrew as well, too, for enjoying your vacation. You better bring us all back something nice, especially for Parker.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's going to bite you. Well, at least bark at you anyway. She'll give you this. She'll give you the butt. Just, no. Scratch my ass. Give me a carrot. Be a little stubborn little prick sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, also, what else? Oh yeah, TCC. Remember, shop.thompsoncaribou.com. 10% off using the code WELCOME10 on your first purchase for another week, May 31st. I guess that's 137 comes up next week, eh? Whew, man, starting to add up there a little bit. Okay, and if you will, then Curry, hit the music.